Welcome to War Story Wednesdays. Today I want to talk about a case where a sweet young couple buys their first house. They've got 2 kids, young ones, and they're all very excited about finally getting a property of their own. And they move in and everybody's happy. And about 6 months later, one of the kids gets a little sick. It gets tired and haggard and nobody can figure out what it is. Breathing is hard. And so they finally take the child over to the doctor. And it turns out that he has developed asthma. And they don't know what's going on, so they look around the house, they look for the pets, they're looking for anything that can give them some sense of what's triggered this new condition. And it turns out that there's a long-standing water leak in the house, and that there is mold throughout the house. And not just the kind of mold that grows on an orange, but that evil, black, nasty, Stachybotrys toxic mold. Well, as you can imagine, the buyers are unhappy, and they file suit against the sellers and the real estate brokers and everybody that could possibly be involved, because now they're looking at long-term medical bills to treat the asthma for the kid. The real estate brokers may or may not have known about the water problems. It's a little unclear. And that defense never got tried because the brokers were able to bring a different defense. They claimed that because the child wasn't their client, that they owed no duty of disclosure at all to the child, who was the plaintiff in the lawsuit, not the parents, because it was the child that had the injury. So the trial court looked at that and struggled a little bit, and the Court of Appeal, because of the adverse decision, adverse to the parents, also looked at it and similarly struggled. The Court of Appeal looked at the statutory language with respect to the duty of disclosure and investigation. And it's clear, the legislation says that the real estate broker owes that duty to a prospective purchaser. And the minor child wasn't a purchaser. So then the court looked at the common law duties. And there's a common law duty to be honest and truthful to everyone involved in the transaction. And in fact, there have been cases where a second and even a third buyer downstream from a transaction that happened 5 years ago or 10 was able to impose liability against a real estate broker for failing to disclose a material fact. So could the child be one of those third parties that the common law duty of investigation and disclosure would be owed to? And the court said no, because even that duty is owed to the buyer of real estate, and the minor child wasn't the buyer. Did the real estate brokerage get lucky and get away with not having to pay for the medical expenses of the injury caused by the non-disclosure of the mold? Yes, I think so. Is the law fair? Not always. But think about it also from the perspective of damages arise only as a result of the breach of a duty. And if there is no duty to someone, you cannot be responsible for any injury that that person sustains. The flip side of it is, could a real estate broker be responsible for anything and everything if there wasn't a cap, a limit on where that duty lies? Here, they say bad facts make bad law. I don't think that the facts here were that bad or that the law created was that bad. Yes, the child was injured. The child developed asthma. But the underlying law that imposes liability to a broker only to the persons to whom the broker owes a duty is sound.